Hello, my dear participants. I welcome you all for this session. So, in this session, I am going to discuss about how the DNA barcode works. That is the protocol of DNA barcoding. So, there are 10 steps involved in DNA barcoding. The first step is collection and storage of samples. Second one is the isolation of whole genomic DNA from the chosen part of the sample. Sample may be either plant or animal or microorganisms. Third step is quantification of the isolated DNA. So once the whole genomic DNA is isolated from the selected tissue, the genomic DNA should be quantified whether the sufficient amount of DNA we have obtained for the PCR amplification next step. So for which we have to quantify the isolated DNA by UV visible spectrophotometer or nanospectrophotometer. And another step, next step is PCR amplification of gene of interest. Here our gene of interest is barcode gene, cytochrome oxidase 1 gene. After amplifying the gene of interest in PCR machine, we have to visualize the PCR product amplicons by running the agarose gel electrophoresis. So we have to run the agarose gel electrophoresis with the loading of PCR amplified products. After running the gel electrophoresis, the DNA bands should be visualized so that we can assure that the PCR products are good in quality and the gene of interest has been amplified. So by visualizing the bands only, we can assure the amplification and the quality of the amplicon. So once we assured the PCR product, then we have to purify the product. There are so many kits available. By using the kits, we can purify the PCR product. So once purified, the purified product should be sequenced. There are sequencer machine, ABI system that we can use for the sequencing of PCR product in both forward and reverse direction. So after sequencing, we will get the sequences of the PCR product, that is CO1 gene sequences. So once sequences received or obtained, the quality of the sequence should be checked. So here there are offline softwares are there. So the sequences should be checked in the sequence scanner software. So in this scanner we can check whether the sequences are good in quality or with some noises or some other impurities that we have to check. So after checking, the good quality sequences are now ready for the homology search in the BLAST. So we have the quality sequence now, then we have to search the homology of our query sequence in the BLAST. So if you run the BLAST, our sequence will match with the already sequenced database in the gene bank, then you will get the result. So what the sample is the name of the species. So everything will be released in the BLAST result. And after confirming the species identification, these sequences may be submitted to the gene bank in NCBI and also in the board for developing the DNA barcodes. So the sequences can be submitted in the gene bank directly in the NCBI, and you can submit the same sequence in the barcode submission tool in the barcode of life database system. So that if you submit the sequences in the barcode database tool, the barcodes will be developed in the board system with the bin number. Okay, so these are the steps that we have to follow for the identification of the species. The first step is the steps involved in the DNA barcoding. The first step is the sampling, collection of samples. What to sample, the how to sample, the after sampling, how to store, what's the medium of the storage, how long days or how long years we can store, then how the collected samples are vouchered. So these are all the things we have to follow in the first step. So focus on a particular group of organism. The first thing, we have to focus on a particular group of organisms. So for example, so my group of organism is ascidians. Similarly, you can choose your own group of organism, for example, a fish or a prawn or an insect or plant or microorganisms like that. First we have to focus a particular group of organisms. Then we have to go for the sampling of the target group of animals or plants. Then collection, sampling method, because sampling strategies is different from the different group of animals. In the case of plants, sampling protocol is different. In the case of microbes, it is different. In the case of marine organism, it is different. In case of high altitude region, it is a different. So depends on the group of organisms which we choose, the sampling strategies differ. So based on this sampling strategy, we have to go for the collection. How to collect and what part is to be collected. After collection, how to store, then how to vouchering the specimen and archiving, finally archiving the data. So first, selection of appropriate tissues for molecular analysis. So what tissue to be taken for the molecular analysis? So it depends on the organisms, again it depends on the organisms to be studied and the type of molecular work to be studied. So what type of organism and what type of molecular work. So what type of molecular work means whether it is a population studies or for the identification or for some other molecular works or like RAPD, like that. So it depends on the molecular work and depends on the organisms, the sampling, the tissues or part of the animal, it differ. In the case of plants, which part to be taken? The actively growing leaves or shoots are best part of the plants for the molecular studies. Apart from these two, leaves and shoots, some other parts can also be used. So for example, seeds, roots, flowers, stems, pollen, spores and gametes. In the case of animals, there are so many tissues from different parts of the animals can be taken. Say for example, bone, feathers in the case of insects or in the case of birds, scales in the case of fishes, hairs, muscles, skin, whole blood, serum, stomach content, that is gut content, and fecal matters. These are all the tissues that we can sample for the molecular study. And storage. In the case of live animal specimens, fresh materials yield highest quality and quantity of the DNA for amplification. So it is better to collect the fresh materials so that the amplification will be very easy, the quantity and quality of the DNA will be best. And the container should be away from the sunlight. The sample should not be exposed to the sunlight for a longer period of time. In the case of rare specimens, they should be preserved on collection. Immediately they should be preserved. Okay, in the case of frozen animals, the frozen samples should be sampled while the specimen is alive or as soon after death as possible. So in the case of frozen samples, the sample should be done in a live conditions. They should be rapidly placed in the cold and away from the sunlight. Then some small amount of blood samples can also be collected in a heparinized hematocrit or container. And the tissue should be rapidly frozen in liquid nitrogen or dry ice in the case of frozen samples. Then storage of specimens and tissue samples in the field itself. The field collection represents the most important source for tissues because origin of material is fully documented. So it is very, very important, that is the field collection. Care must be taken in during the field collection. So there are some disadvantages which include the time and expense associated with the expedition to remote areas. In the case of remote areas, we have to travel long time and we have to spend lot of money. And some other problems of transportation and permits, everything. In the case of harbors, it is very difficult to collect the samples from the harbor. So we have to get the prior permission. Similarly, in the case of a reserved forest or marine biospheres, we have to get the prior permission. Suppose if we want to collect the endangered species or species of vulnerable species, that also we have to get the permits. So these are some disadvantages in the case of field collection. And storage and its medium. The proteins are stored in the liquid nitrogen. For the protein isolation, liquid nitrogen is used as a storage medium. For the isolation of molecular DNA, ethanol or isopropanol is used. The tissue samples, regardless of the study or the molecule of interest, the goal should be to acquire the fresh or best preserved sample possible. So as I already told you, the sampling is very, very important in the case of DNA barcoding because it's a first step. If you fail to sample in a correct way, so it will hamper in all the other steps. So sampling is very, very important. So again, maintain the tissue samples preferably at low temperature, excluding the sunlight and other forms of radiations. Remove water and oxygen and sterilize against the microorganisms. So these are some precautionary measures that we have to keep in our mind during the sampling. And this can be done by freezing, a desiccation, or the addition of preservative fluids, and by storing samples in the dark at a constant low temperature. The specimens should be preserved immediately in the 95% ethanol. The rare specimen should be preserved on collection rather than kept alive to safeguard against death going unnoticed during the course of trip, the resulting in inadequate preservation. So rare specimens should be preserved on collection itself. If frozen tissues are to be collected, they should be sampled while the specimen is alive or soon after death and rapidly placed in the cold. Say for example, liquid nitrogen or freezer. Storage of blood samples. Small blood samples can be collected in heparinized hematocrit or microcentrifuge tubes, whereas larger samples can be collected from heart or caudal vessels using a heparinized syringe. An anticoagulant should be added to the blood samples that will be stored. For example, blood samples treated with the heparin or EDTA can be stored at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius for a few days, or at minus 20 degrees Celsius or minus 80 degrees Celsius for a few weeks. So this is the graph which clearly shows the average yield of DNA after storage at 25 degrees Celsius for up to 14 days. So in the 0 day, you can say the maximum yield of the DNA. So when the days goes on, the yield of DNA is decreasing. Then some practical considerations that we should follow to avoid the contamination. Throughout the duration of the field work, collectors should take care of to prevent the cross-contamination. So once the specimen or tissue is contaminated, it is very difficult to identify the species at molecular level. So we should avoid the cross-contamination in the sampling. Then second thing is, the individual tissue samples should be stored in separate container. Suppose if you want to take the tissue samples from a single specimen, in a single specimen, you may take the tissues at different parts. So these two different tissue samples should be stored in the separate containers. So it should be very clear that all the tissue samples should be stored in the separate containers and it should be labeled appropriately. If storage of samples in the same container is unavoidable, in such cases, polyethylene sacks may be used to separate the individual samples. So in a large containers, you can use the polyethylene sacks to divide the content into two parts. Then remove all the dirt and contaminating organisms from the specimens or tissues. That is very important so that we can avoid the contaminations. Then this is the list of items should be in the collection kit. When you go to field for the collecting the specimens of our own group of animal, so these are the very basic needs which should be present in the collection kit. One is the ice box and ice to preserve the specimens, samples, dissection box containing the forceps, small forceps, large forceps, needles, scalpels and blades, scissors, then 2 ml disposable syringe and 21 gauge 1.5 inch needle, heparin in the case of blood samples, latex gloves, tissue paper, aluminum foil, price stickers, labeled epidural tubes, micropipettes, parafilms, field balance and ruler, cryocan, liquid nitrogen and medium-sized registers. These are all the items that we should carry while go to the field. So with this, I conclude the first step, collection, preservation and storage of the samples for the DNA barcoding study. So with this, I conclude my speech. Thank you all.